Alright guys, everyone, hello, Nurse Abby. This video is a very specific video for very specific people. So if you're watching this video, it's probably because I sent you the link, unless you just like to watch Nurse Abby videos, and then bless you. But this is a video for if you are a medically complex parent and you live in an area where you can get paid to be your child's nurse, and you're saying, should I go to school to be a nurse so I can get paid to be my kid's nurse? This is a video I've made for you because I have talked to a lot of people who are in this situation, because I was in this situation and I did decide to go to nursing school. That's why I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse because Illinois made a rule that if you were a parent of a medically complex kid that got home nursing and you were a nurse, you get paid to be your kid's nurse. If you are not wondering about this topic, this video probably is not really that interesting to you. So, all that said, sometimes I joke around. This was before nursing school, especially if Raylan was in the hospital and no one was quite sure why she was having the symptoms she was having or what was going on. I would say, I'm not a doctor, I just play one in real life. And if you're a parent of a medically complex kid, you know exactly what I mean. I'm not saying that I at all have the education of a doctor, that I know more than doctors. But when you have a medically complex kid, you quickly learn way more medical knowledge than the average person, especially related to your own kid. And you are a team player with all the different providers and specialists when there's a mystery going on with your kid. And you do learn start learning what symptoms might be relevant, what different even labs might be, hey, this isn't normal for my kid, or vital signs that are off. And you do become a part of the team, and you are, maybe you don't have the doctor's education, but you have a knowledge about your kid and the labs and vital signs that are related to your kid enough that you are a team player when they're figuring out mysteries about your kid when they're in the hospital. So anyways, if you're a parent of a medically complex kid, you probably already have a lot of medical knowledge, and you're thinking, how hard can nursing school be at this point? Like, I've been playing a nurse for my kid, I've been playing doctor for my kid for the last however long you've been parent to this kid. So, you know, when you find out, ooh, if I just had that degree, I could be getting paid, it definitely, like, it makes sense that you're saying, should I go get the nursing degree so I can get paid to be my kid's caregiver? So I'm gonna go through some reasons why I would say, yes, you should, and reasons why you should maybe not go get that degree. So first off, from my experience, really quick, what I did, they made the rule when COVID happened that if you were a nurse, you could be your kid's nurse and start getting paid to take care of your kid in your home. But it was going to be temporary. As soon as I heard they were making it permanent, as soon as I heard that, I think within a couple weeks, maybe even less than that, I was starting on prerequisites for nursing school. It was a no-brainer. It was what I thought I needed to do. I felt a little bit crazy going back to school at age 40. I think I was 40. But it was like, yes, I should do this. And I don't regret it. I'm glad I did it. It was totally worth it. But here are some reasons that I would say it would be totally worth it for you. One, if your child has a lot of unfilled nursing shifts in the home, and so it makes you working outside the home very, very difficult or almost impossible. And most people I know that have kids as medically complex as Raylan, at least one parent is home full time, because you don't have the nursing coverage for both parents to work. Like, it's just not possible. Even if you think you have nursing coverage, the amount of call-offs, so many people end up losing their jobs or having to quit their jobs when they have medically complex kids, or they're not able to work full-time anymore. So if you have a kid, so the number one thing is, can you get paid to take care of your child? Because some states allow it and some states don't. And if you don't live somewhere where you can get paid to take care of your kid as a nurse, it doesn't make sense to do that unless you plan on moving. And then you better like really double check that your kid's going to qualify for nursing hours in that state, and be careful. Be careful moving to get paid to be your kid's nurse. I'm not saying don't do it, but make sure you really know they would qualify. But then, do they have unfilled shifts, enough unfilled shifts that you can't work another job? I would say that's a good reason to consider going back to nursing school. Another one, this is really important. Could you see yourself being a nurse, any other patients besides your own child? Does it sound like a job you would enjoy if it wasn't your kid? I will tell you right now, to get through clinicals, you're going to be helping care for a lot of other people. You're going to be wiping a lot of butts and giving a lot of bed baths to people who were sick and not able to bathe themselves, and they're smelly, not because maybe they don't have good hygiene, but because they've been sick for the last 5 days at home, hardly able to take care of themselves, and they finally got into the hospital, admitted, and you're gonna do some gross stuff in clinicals to help take care of people and make them feel better. If you can't see yourself taking care of anyone besides your kid in a nurse role, in a CNA role, nursing school is not for you. And then also, just to be really frank, you don't want to get this degree and then legislation changes or your child passes away and you can no longer use your degree to care for your child for one of those reasons. I don't think this would be a good thing to pursue if you couldn't see yourself being a nurse with someone else besides your child. That doesn't mean you will ever be a nurse for anyone besides your child. I've had my nursing degree now for a year and a half, and Raylan's been the only patient I provided direct care to. I do have one other patient that I see once every 60 days as a very, very, very part-time case manager type role with the company that I'm a home health nurse for. But I'm not using my nursing skills with anyone other than Raylan, really, except for that, once every 60 days, I use my nurse case manager skills. So you may not, if your kid has a lot of unfilled shifts, you may not ever be anyone but your child's nurse, but you need to think it sounds okay, that you could enjoy another nursing job, I feel like. I think if you say, yeah, I could see myself doing home health nursing with other kids, or yeah, I think it would be fun to work in an ER or in a NICU or at a nursing home, that's a good sign that this would be, yes, you should go to nursing school. Sign number 3, you should definitely say yes to going to nursing school. You have people that are 100% supportive of you going back to school, that are willing to pick up a lot of the slack while you're in school. This is crucial, but if you have a spouse or a parent, a partner who is like, yes, you should go back to school, and they are able to do all your child's care needs and they're willing to do whatever it takes to help you, that's good. And that's what got me through nursing school. Is my husband is also my daughter's caretaker, and he was 100% supportive as her dad of me going back to school, and he cut back his own work. He sacrificed a lot. It was just as much work for him as it was for me. So that if you have someone like I have that will say, yes, we'll both do what it takes to get you through school, to take care of the kiddo and get you through school at the same time, you should consider going back to nursing school, like sign up yesterday. And then another reason to say yes is you found a program that will work for you. And I spent a little bit of time looking for a program. For me, I already had a bachelor's degree. So the quickest way for me to become a nurse was to find an ABSN program, Accelerated Bachelor's Degree in Nursing program. And mine was a 16-month program. And I had 5 prerequisite classes I needed to take before I could start that 16-month program. But that was the fastest way for me to become a nurse, I think. Possibly I could have found a shorter program as an LPN student, but the other reason why this, and if you become an LPN, you don't get to make as much money as an RN, but the main reason why I picked the program I picked also was because all of the classes were online, and then the clinicals were done. You kind of had a say in helping schedule your clinicals. So it wasn't like we had a CNA a good friend, CNA, in our home that went to nursing school while she was our daughter's CNA and then was our daughter's nurse. And she went to an LPN program at community college. And it might have been, I don't really remember how long that program was. It might have been about the same length or a little bit shorter. But she had to go in person for classes, and her clinical hours were not flexible at all. It was like, you need to be here on this day at this time. So the program I chose, which was Elmhurst ABSN program, Elmhurst is like 3.5 hours away from my house, but all my classes were online. And then my clinicals, they tried to schedule near me. The furthest I ever had to drive was an hour away for any of my clinicals. And then my clinicals, I got to schedule the times that worked for me with my preceptors. So it's very, very flexible when I did my clinicals. It was still a lot of time away from home. I still needed a lot of help and support so that Raylan was taken care of, but it was at least a little bit more flexible. And then my classes, I could attend class and take care of Raylan at the same time sometime. I attended class while I was in the hospital with Raylan more than once. If you can find a flexible program, especially if they have online classes, especially if they let you be flexible with when you schedule your clinicals. Now, I did have to go up to Elmhurst 2 different times for a few days. I forget now how long each of those were. It was about 5 days, I think, both times, but it might have been a little more the first time and a little less the second time. I don't remember. But yeah, if you find a program that works for you, and we're talking about the distance the program is from home, the cost of the program, the length of time it takes, the flexibility of clinicals, if any of the classes are remote, you'll know if you find the right program that's doable. So really quick, the reasons to say yes to go to nursing school ASAP, just to review. Your child has a lot of unfilled shifts, and it makes working outside the home next to impossible. So you can't work outside the home. The only job you're going to be able to do is to be your kid's nurse. 2, you could see yourself being a nurse for someone else besides your kid. I feel like you need some sort of passion for nursing besides just taking care of your kid to get through clinicals, to make the degree worth it, just in case legislation changes and you can't take care of your kid anymore. They stop the program, or kids, medically complex kids, they pass away. If your kid passes away, it would not be worth it if you got your nursing degree and you could only get paid for 1 year to be your kid's nurse. Cost of nursing school, that would not make sense. 3, you have someone very, very supportive that's also willing to make sacrifices to help you take care of your medically complex child while you go to nursing school. They're going to make a lot of sacrifices. It's a huge, huge time commitment for that person or those group of people, whoever your support is. But you have people who are supportive and on board. And then 4, you found a program that works for you. It's flexible. That's really ideal. If some of the classes are remote or online, that's a huge, huge help. If they let you schedule clinicals at times that work for you, that's a huge, huge help. All right, now reasons to say maybe you should go to nursing school, but maybe you shouldn't. The first one I thought of is if you have really bad test anxiety, or if you struggle to get good grades in school. Tests are a big part of nursing school. And if most of the classes, I believe you had to have a 76 average or higher for your test scores. So even if you got like 100% on all your homework and little assignments, so you were passing the class, if your test average wasn't, I think, above 76%, you would not pass the class. And to get your nursing degree, even after you pass nursing school, you have to pass your NCLEX exam. That's for LPN or RN. The test, as far as I can tell, the NCLEX is pretty similar for RN, LPN. I got my RN degree, but I don't think that the LPN NCLEX is a whole lot easier. I think they're both about equally as difficult. So if tests are really hard for you, if you had a lot of problems getting good grades in school because of tests, I would be careful jumping into nursing school because you're gonna have to pay for it. That's, like just that first semester of nursing school is very expensive. And if you get kicked out of the program or have to drop out because you just realize I don't have the time inability to get the grades I need on these tests. You're gonna have dug yourself in a hole. It's just a lot to give up. Now, that said, if you're like, ooh, I don't know if this is me or not. I remember I had 5 classes I had to take before I could even start nursing school. You have to take statistics, anatomy and physiology, biology, chemistry, and lifespan psychology. I think those are the prerequisites for going to an accelerated BSN program. I had statistics already from a dual enrollment course in high school, actually. So I didn't have to take statistics, but I had to take those other 4 classes. I clept out of lifespan psychology because I was surprised I didn't have credit for that in college. Somehow I didn't, but I was able to clep out of that. That was pretty easy for me, but that still left me with anatomy and physiology, microbiology, I think, or some sort of, I think it was microbiology, and chemistry. So I got on Portage. I have lots of videos about Portage. Elmhurst recommended me to use Portage for my prerequisites. If you're like, I don't know, maybe nursing school's going to be too hard for me. I did wonder if nursing school was going to be too hard for me. But here's what I did. I looked at the prerequisites I needed to take. Chemistry, I knew that was going to be the hardest one. I immediately signed up for chemistry on Portage. And it's online. You take the classes online. And let's see if you can pass chemistry, which sounds really scary and hard. And if you can pass chemistry, then you can do anything. That's what I told myself. And chemistry really was, I think, the hardest class I took, all of, including nursing school. I did not enjoy it. It was hard. It took, a ton of studying time and homework time to get through chemistry. It's the only class that made me cry. It wasn't even a nursing class. It was a prerequisite. But so if you're unsure about, I don't know if I can handle the test, are there prereqs you need to take for your program? Just start on the prereqs and see how you do. And then decide, do you want to go on? Because had I started chemistry and said, whoa, it's too hard, I would have been out, I think, $600 or something. I don't remember how much Portage was, about $600. That's not a big deal to be out $600. Had I started nursing school, my program was a $50,000 program and I got some scholarships, but I would have been out way more than $50,000 had I paid for the first semester of nursing school and then dropped out. So if you're unsure, start those prereqs. Be honest with yourself on how doable they were, and then say, can I do this for nursing school? Okay, reasons to say, so that was my only reason to say maybe. Oh, you think it's too expensive. If you will work full-time as a nurse once you graduate with your child, if you'll be able to work full-time with your child once you graduate, if you're willing to work full-time as a nurse, if your child passes away, if you're still willing to work full-time as a nurse, you will be able to pay off student loans. So if you're worried it's too expensive, if you're willing to work as a nurse, you will be able to pay off your student loans. There's also scholarships for nursing students, even second degree nursing students. There's a lot of states have scholarships. I was able to get a decent chunk of money to help with the nursing school costs. It still was expensive. I have like $25,000 in student loans. So it's not, I'm not saying it's free to go to nursing school, but the student loans, you'll be able to pay them off if you're working full-time as a nurse. Nurses make good money. Okay. Now here's reasons to say no. Here's reasons that you should say, nope, I should not go to nursing school, at least right now. If you right now, where you're at, cannot afford to give up a little bit of your income, you cannot afford to give up any of your family time, you cannot afford to give up all the control you have over what's going on in your household and your child's care, and maybe a little bit of your physical health. If you can't afford to let your physical health suffer a little, let your finances suffer a little bit, give up some family time, give up some of the control you have over your child's care, you probably don't have time for nursing school. At the beginning, when I started nursing school, I was working part-time online from home. I was able to do that and just cut back my hours a little bit. And then I believe the last half of the semester of nursing school, I had to stop work altogether to focus on you just get more and more clinical hours the further you get through nursing school. So we gave up some income. My husband did not have as much time for work because he was, spending more time taking care of our daughter too. So we gave up a little bit of income. Family time, I spent my free time, my fun time, what little I had before, it was now replaced with watching Nurse Mike videos. Yeah, I watched so many Nurse Mike videos. Physical, I'll just say I gained weight during nursing school. I didn't go to the dentist. I didn't go, the only doctor's appointments I went to for myself during nursing school where I had to like go get the physical to start clinicals, and it wasn't, it was just, the quick in and out physical, like, yes, I'm healthy enough to be a nurse, sign these papers. I didn't prioritize my health during nursing school. I didn't feel like I had time to. I had less control over Raylan's care needs when she was hospitalized. I was there sometimes. I did go to nursing classes while sitting in the hospital room with her, but also sometimes Chris was in the hospital with her. I couldn't always be there when she was in the hospital. I couldn't take her to all of her doctor's appointments. He had to be able to do those. Those were things usually I did, and I had to give those up and let him do some of them. So if you can't afford to give up some of the control you have over your child's care, if you can't afford to give up some of your own physical health, family time, income, probably can't afford to do nursing school right now. Maybe down the road, maybe you can line those things up. Another reason to say no is if you don't have, and we kind of talked about, you should say yes if you have a caregiver that's supportive, but if you don't have caregivers for your child that are invested in your success in nursing school, that are willing, they are willing to give up some of their income, they are willing to give up some of their family time, they're willing to give up a whole lot, maybe some of their physical health, so they can be there for your kid and for you to be at clinicals and studying, it's not a good time. You need to be willing to give up a lot, and you need another caregiver for your child who's also willing to give up some stuff. It just was a really busy, it was 18 months for me. It took me 3 months to get my prerequisites done, and then I found a program that started in January, and then it was 16 months of nursing school, and so I guess that would be more like 19 months. Yeah. It was about 18, 19 months of sacrifices that I made. And so probably 2 people need to make sacrifices for you to go to nursing school. If you have to be willing to make them, and then you have to have someone else who's willing to step in and do the care that you can't do because you're in clinicals, and they're going to need to be willing to make some sacrifices. We had more nursing lined up when I started nursing school than we had ever had before. We had 50 hours a week of nursing coverage, and I thought part of what would make going to nursing school easy was that we did finally have so much coverage for Raylan. 50 hours a week were covered pretty much Monday through Friday, 10-hour shifts. I started prerequisites in September, so September, October, November, December, January, February, March, May, June. The first 10 months of nursing school, I had a lot of nursing help. The beginning of June, our full-time nurse very suddenly and unexpectedly passed away. So the last half of nursing school, we did not have very much nursing help. We had one part-time nurse who was very gracious to often pick up extra shifts for us and help us out, but you probably can't count on your kids' current nurses to have the level of commitment that like a spouse would, or maybe your parents would if they know how to take care of your kiddo for you. Because it is a lot. So hopefully those things helped you. I've been rambling, and hopefully Chris can cut this down to a shorter video, but those are reasons why you should definitely consider going to nursing school if you can, and reasons why you should say, ooh, maybe not, or at least not now. I hope this helps you make the decision. If you have questions about this process, if you leave them in the comments, I will try, I'm not promising, but I'll try to make some follow-up videos and answer some of those questions.